Okay, does this sound familiar? It's morning, you grab your phone, and before you've even had a glass of water, you've already opened up an app and ordered your coffee. 2 little taps. Boom, done. Later on, you're sitting there thinking, man, I really need to get my finances figured out. Yeah, I thought so. Today, we are going to talk about the invisible money, the cash that just seems to vanish from our accounts without us even noticing. So let's kick things off with a story that's probably going to feel, well, a lot like your own. We can just call it your daily routine. And there it is, that latte. You know the one, from that place just around the corner, $6.50. A couple of taps on your phone and it's on its way. You don't even think twice about it, do you? It's just part of the morning, automatic.
But what if that simple, automatic little habit wasn't so simple? What if that daily coffee, over a long time, adds up to a huge financial opportunity that you are just completely missing out on?
And this gets us to the real problem here. See, it's not really about the coffee. Nope, the real enemy is the money that leaves our accounts so quietly, so frictionlessly, that our brains don't even bother to log it as a real financial choice. All right, so let's actually run the numbers. We'll even be conservative and say it's a $6 coffee, just on weekdays. And look, we're not saying you have to give it up. The point is to understand the cost. A great coffee you make at home is what, like 80 cents? The truly mind-blowing part is what happens when you invest that difference. That little difference, it works out to be about $130 a month. And when you look at it that way, it's not just a few dollars here and there, right? It's a pretty big recurring monthly expense that's just flying totally under the radar. Now, this is where it starts to get really crazy. If you took that $130 a month and just put it into a basic S&P 500 index fund, which historically gets around a 10% annual return, after just 10 years, your coffee money turns into $26,000. But hold on, we are just warming up. After 20 years, that number skyrockets to almost $100,000. Think about that, a 6-figure sum, all built from a tiny daily decision you probably don't even remember making by lunchtime. So what about 30 years? $328,000. This isn't some kind of financial wizardry. It's just the slow, steady, unstoppable power of compound interest. A single, invisible purchase every day morphs into a life-altering pile of cash. Okay, I know exactly what you're thinking right now. Come on, man, you can't ask me to give up my one small pleasure. And you know what? You're right, I'm not. The point isn't about pleasure. It's about the psychology that makes spending the money so darn easy. You see, there's this concept in behavioral economics called the pain of paying. When you physically hand over cash, like a real $20 bill, your brain feels a tiny little sting. It registers that something is being lost. But all our modern payment methods, they've been engineered, literally designed, to get rid of that friction and erase that pain completely. I mean, just look at the difference. Paying with cash feels real. You feel it leave your hand. It's a conscious act. But paying with an app, it's just a painless little tap. The psychological cost is basically zero. And believe me, that is not an accident. Companies have built gigantic empires on this one simple principle. And this number right here shows you the result. A study by C+R Research found that, on average, Americans underestimate what they spend on subscriptions every month by $133. Every single month. People guessed they were spending around $86, but the real number was $219. That's the invisible hole right there in action. And this problem just gets bigger and bigger. In fact, you will not find a better example of this engineered, painless spending than the world of streaming services. It is honestly one of the most brilliant traps ever designed for our wallets. Hey, remember when we all cut the cord to get away from those $100 cable bills? Yeah, well, take a look at this. Netflix, Disney+, Max, Hulu. The average person has 4 or 5 of these things. You add it all up, and a lot of us are now paying even more than we ever did for cable. The irony? And here's the part that most people don't get. This was all done on purpose. The studios saw how big Netflix was getting, they took all their hit shows back, and they launched their own platforms. The strategy even has a name. It's called content fragmentation, and it was designed from the ground up to get you to subscribe to every single one of them. The playbook they used was beautifully simple. First, launch with a super cheap price to get you hooked. Second, scatter all the must-see shows across different services so you feel like you're missing out if you don't have them all. And third, use these tiny regular price hikes, just $1 here, $2 there, small enough to fly below our pain threshold, so we just shrug and accept it. So here's the bottom line. When you put it all together, that daily coffee and a pretty standard bundle of subscriptions, it adds up fast. A very, very conservative estimate for these combined invisible expenses is somewhere around $300 a month.
And what does that $300 a month turn into over 30 years if it's invested? $678,000. That's more than $500,000 just gone, leaking out of your wallet through lattes and subscriptions you probably don't even remember signing up for.
But I want to be crystal clear about something. The goal here is not to make you feel guilty or to tell you to stop enjoying things. Not at all. The goal is simply to turn these invisible, automatic decisions into visible, conscious ones. It's about giving you back the power of choice.
So what can you actually do about this, like right now? I'm going to give you 3 super simple, practical steps you can take in the next 30 minutes to start plugging that hole in your wallet for good. Okay, step 1, the subscription audit. Just pull up your bank statement and list out every single recurring charge. See a service you haven't used in a month? Cancel it today. Step 2, the 30-year calculator. Go online, find one, plug in your own numbers, and just look. See the future cost for yourself. And third, the 1-month challenge. For just 30 days, make your coffee at home and set up an automatic transfer to invest the difference. Just try it.
If you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. The biggest wins in your financial life don't always come from making more money. A lot of the time, they come from just seeing where your money is actually going. You can't change what you can't see.
So let's make this real. That gap between the life you have and the life you want, it's built on these tiny, everyday decisions. So my question for you is, what's the one invisible expense you are going to make visible and cancel today?